going on, everybody? You were watching the Jets Report by Chat Sports, and coming up on today's show, we got some great New York Jets injury news heading into the bye week. Sauce Gardner, Garrett Wilson, there's a good chance they are both out there for the Week 10 matchup against the Cleveland Browns. But speaking about the Jets getting healthy, if you guys want the Jets to get healthy, go down there and hit that thumbs up icon. Our bosses actually challenged us to get 300 likes on today's show, so if you guys could help me out, make me look good for my bosses, and also help us avoid an awkward meeting with the bosses here at Chat Sports, go down there and hit that thumbs up icon. All right, so I just want to get this out of the way here first. Looking back at that Cincinnati Bengals win, it is very, very impressive that the Jets were able to come out of Cincinnati with a victory, considering you had two of your top 5 players on the roster not there. I also fully understand the Bengals are one of the worst teams in the league. They lost Trey Hendrickson during that game, so it wasn't like tough competition for the New York Jets. But the fact that you're able to beat a Cincinnati Bengals team still with Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, a high-powered offense without Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson, you got to give a lot of credit to the rest of the guys on that team who had to step up with those guys not being out there. And the good news on Sauce Gardner here is that he was actually back at practice. The Jets had a bye week practice. Kind of just a slow walkthrough period, but Sauce Gardner was out there, so that's great news there. Obviously, Sauce Gardner has not had a fantastic season, not really necessarily living up to that contract, but he is still one of the better cornerbacks in the league, and he is a key cog in this Jets defense and that system. And his PFF grades on the year, solid. Like, he's a low-end cornerback 1 at this point, or at least he's been showing that so far this season. Has an overall PFF grade of 71.3, which is 24th in the NFL. He's actually been great against the run this year, which is very impressive. He doesn't have a whole lot of missed tackles, so I will give Sauce Gardner credit there, considering this past season. Back in 2024, he was terrible against the run, missed tackles all over the place, but coverage, 30th in the NFL, and he's obviously been fairly healthy before this injury he did suffer. But, Sauce Gardner, missing games, not playing his best football, had allowed Brandon Stephens to play some of the best football of his career. And he has been absolutely fantastic over the last couple of weeks, specifically the last 5 games. And I never thought I would be saying this, because considering he was probably one of the worst players in the National Football League during the first couple of games of this Jets season, but the last 5 games, he has been fantastic. I mean, week 4 against the Dolphins, his PFF grade was 79.9, had a solid coverage grade at 84.3. He was great against the Cowboys, who have a lot of weapons. With George Pickens, had a 75.8 overall PFF grade, 76.2 in coverage. Struggled a little bit against the Broncos, but still, that bad game is, you'll take that out of his bad games, considering what a bad game was before that. Then week 7 against the Panthers, great again. And then this past week against the Cincinnati Bengals, another very, very solid performance. And, myself and probably everybody watching today's show, all Jets fans, owe Brandon Stephens an apology. I thought that was the worst contract Darren Muji gave out this offseason. You signed him for 3 years, $36 million. I did not understand that whatsoever, considering he was so bad during the first couple of weeks. But over the last 5, Brandon Stephens has been one of the best players on this Jets roster, and he's been one of the best cornerbacks in the National Football League. I can't believe that's coming out of my mouth. I never thought I would be saying that. So Brandon Stephens, I apologize, and the rest of the Jets Nation should be apologizing to number 21 as well. But his overall PFF grades on the season, he's actually graded now better than a guy like Sauce Gardner has. Overall PFF grade, 73.1, 17th in the league. Run defense grade, 68.2, 40th. And then coverage grade, solid. He's the 17th highest graded corner in coverage this season, posting a 72.5 grade. So even though Sauce Gardner hasn't been playing his best football, he's missed some time due to the injury, it's good that number 21 is stepping up and making some plays for this defense. Now, also we got a report on Garrett Wilson. He is expected to be back for the Week 10 matchup versus the Cleveland Browns, and I can't overemphasize enough how big of an addition this is for not only the Jets team, but specifically the offense. Like, this is absolutely massive, because as we know, the Jets wide receiver room is very thin behind Garrett Wilson. They got Tyler Johnson, who's kind of necessarily just a wide receiver 4. Josh Reynolds on short-term IR. Arian Smith out there. I mean, we saw Isaiah Williams getting involved a whole lot this past week against the Bengals. Now, I will give the Jets wide receivers credit. They played a lot better against the Bengals. Like Tyler Johnson, he had a fantastic catch on that touchdown, 4th and 2. Justin Fields just kind of floated up for him. He turned over his right shoulder, made a hell of a play on the football. He was also attacking the middle of the field very well. I kind of want to see them use Tyler Johnson on those deep in-breaking routes. He's not afraid to take a hit over the middle of the field. He can create separation versus man, and he's just a solid wide receiver. But again, he's more of a wide receiver 3. But having Garrett Wilson back, that should open up more opportunities for Tyler Johnson. But also, they got to get Arian Smith the football more. Arian Smith right now, out of all NFL wide receivers, so we're talking Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, the best names in the NFL. He actually creates the most amount of separation versus man coverage in the entire league. That's insane. Now, normally, speedsters create a lot of separation, which is obviously, who Arian Smith is. So also, you see like guys like Jameson Williams up there. You see even like Matthew Golden of the Green Bay Packers or Roma Dunze up there as well. But speedsters create a lot of separation. And Arian Smith, the highest separation versus man coverage in the entire NFL. So you got to try to somehow get this guy the football more. And if you guys want Arian Smith to get the football more, just drop those me's down below because, obviously you got to start developing these rookies and, they can develop during practice, no doubt. But I think the most amount of development really does come when, they're out there on the football field and getting the ball a whole lot. So hopefully the Jets offense make that change during the bye week and get number 82 the football a whole lot more. Now, we'll dive into the rest of today's show here in a second, but before we do so, I got to tell you guys about today's presenting sponsor, and that is PrizePicks. Now, the hard-hitting football action is even better with PrizePicks. The weather might be changing, but the feeling of being right never gets old. So keep the season rolling on PrizePicks by getting $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. PrizePicks is the only app that offers stacks. I mean, you can pick up to the same player up to 3 times in the same lineup. If you guys want to pick more on Josh Allen's pass yards, rush yards, and touchdowns, now you can pick all of them in the same lineup only on PrizePicks. You guys can also follow other PrizePicks players directly on the app and copy their lineups in one click. Whether it's a friend, celebrity partner, or just someone whose picks you like, hit the follow button and check out every lineup they create in the new Feed tab on PrizePicks. So download the PrizePicks app today, plug in that promo code CLNS, and we'll hook you guys up with $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That is promo code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. But massive shout out to PrizePicks for sponsoring today's show. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. All right, I want to give a brief preview with this Jets-Browns game looming in Week 10 of the season. Obviously, the Jets are on a bye. Browns are on the bye as well, but the Jets coming off the bye over the last 9 seasons, it has not been going well. Here's their record, 1-8 over their last 9 post-bye week games. Lost to the Seahawks, only win coming against the Giants in a 13-10 slugfest. Lost to the Patriots twice. One game you got absolutely blown out, 54-13. Lost to the Chargers, lost to the Eagles, lost to the Patriots, lost to the Panthers, lost to the Patriots. So they are 1-8 in their last 9 post-bye week games. And, I love bye weeks, especially when you have a new coaching staff, because you will get a great evaluation on them. Like, you really get to see, like, how much are these guys preparing, like, how much of an advantage, Aaron Glenn, Tanner Engstrand, and Steve Wilkes can have with extra time to prepare. Because if you look at all the best coaches in the NFL, like Andy Reid's record off the bye, even a guy like Nick Sirianni has a great record off the bye. John Harbaugh's got a great record off the bye. So this would be a great litmus test in terms of our evaluation as fans for Aaron Glenn, but also the rest of the coaching staff. Like Tanner Engstrand, can he come out there, have a good offensive game plan? Can they execute going against a really, really good Browns defense? That's going to be key. So just, getting more evaluation, getting more information on how good of a coach or how bad of a coach Aaron Glenn is. We should get more answers to that, question here following the bye week. But the Week 10 early spread for this game, they're expecting a slugfest. And the Jets are actually 1.5-point favorites in this one. And the over-under is set at 38.5. So expecting a low-scoring game. Well, not a lot of points in here. Obviously with, 2 of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL and Justin Fields and Dylan Gabriel, it makes a whole lot of sense. And both teams do have solid defenses. Obviously, the Browns a whole lot better than the Jets, but I fully believe the Jets should win this football game. Like, I think the talent level, top to bottom, on each roster should give a slight advantage for the Jets. Again, a slight advantage. Like, I'm not saying this is a guaranteed, win for the Jets. They are in no position right now with where the football team stands to, guarantee any wins. But you're at home against the Cleveland Browns, Dylan Gabriel. I expect the Jets to win this game, and I think they will. I think they're going to get a little 2-game winning streak going here. You're coming off the bye. I understand the Browns are as well, but you're getting Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson back. So hopefully the blue chippers on this Jets team really does perform well. But I think they're going to win. But, hey, you guys predict the score for me down below. Jets versus Browns in this Week 10 matchup. You guys let me know your thoughts. Predict the score. If I had to give a score prediction, I'm probably going to go 20-17 here. I think the Jets win on a game-winning field goal. But you guys let me know your thoughts. Predict the score. Jets versus Browns. See you guys next time. As always, go Jets.